lines for others to follow? No. The merit
should not be a trendsetter.
The merit, the only and only issue should be the merit of the person to reach to the ladder. So which is here where the dividing line comes and where the women needs to be protected. This is the final line.
Yes.
That is why this act.
Sometimes if the women
That
wants
is why
to,
this act is.
if the women wants to, jump that line, who stops her?
This is where the boss has to be.
No.
This is where the boss has to be.
The entire onus should not be on the boss.
No, exactly. This is where the boss has to finalize the line that he should not
There's a
allow.
certain decorum. This is the way we function.
Has to be because
that's what I was asking. You have
government has to be.
I think that the bill is going to increase the legal harassment of all the bosses, of the male bosses. This is what I feel. This harassment can be of a man also.
Yeah.
Harassment is, yeah, that's correct. Harassment is actually not
Just one at a time.
It is not gender specific.
Hemant wants to know it's not gender specific. We've been discussing that. Yes.
Harassment is not gender specific. If you see the US laws, it specifically says it's not gender specific. It can be from either side.
Yes.
So if you make a false accusation, which India has seen for so long in dowry cases and domestic violence acts and all, recently we have seen that also. So I don't think it should be gender specific. The moment you make it gender specific, that it can only be used against males, then I think you are getting into troubled waters. In this, it's a very
it cannot only be for women.
Yes,
I would also put across a very interesting study
yes.
here. Sorry, a very interesting study here, in which a lot of subjects were taken, and about 50% of the men complained about being harassed at the workplace by women.
In what context? I mean, what were they harassed about?
Harassed about the same thing as women harassed about the same context as women is alleging about.
Oh, okay.
It's the same context. Sexual harassment can be of a man also.
What someone is saying is absolutely correct, because sometimes I know of my friends, they will not stop a woman even if there is work. They will not ask her for certain work to be done, or they will not send her to certain places. They would have to be extra cautious in certain things. And sometimes the female, I think in most of the time they know that there are certain things
they can get away
where they can get advantage over certain things.
Okay,
so
Professor Vidammohan, give us a different perspective on this.
The name of the act is sexual harassment. It is not women's sexual harassment. Am I correct?
Protection of women. No,
protection of women.
It is protection of women.
It is protection of women.
Okay, but that is in the gender.
Against
gender.
domestic.
But the main thing is sexual harassment. So in that case, if a man is harassed, definitely he is in the ambit.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I'm sorry, ma'am. No,
he is not.
The act
even the IPC does not help him.
Yes,
no law in the country helps him.
It's just like the dowry thing.
No.
It's just like another dowry bill.
Let's go Madhu Singh has it absolutely right.
See,
it is
protection of women against sexual harassment at workplace.
Yes.
This is the title of the act.
Right.
Now, as you are comparing it with the Dowry Act, please, let's understand, dowry is nothing but the gifts given to the women by the family, guests and relatives to establish their own new establishment. It is a kind of help to the new couple. It's a gift.
That is Sridhan you are talking about, ma'am, not the dowry.
No,
You're talking about the Sridhan here.
This is exactly. So there is a Dowry Prohibition Act. This is where I'm saying. We have to see from the legal perspective. It is absolutely
that is where the problem lies, ma'am.
It is misnomer. That's
the practical point.
Why it has to be gender specific?
This is what I'm saying.
Why it has to be gender specific? That's the question. Why not both sides?
Because there are certain groups of the society need special acts. The children need special acts. The women who are employed in the industries, they need special protections. They cannot be employed, allowed to work beyond particular period. They have to have specific breaks during the working hours. They have to have creches within that.
I understand the Supreme Court in Vishaka case said Article 14, 19, 21, it was cited. So and 14 applies for men also.
Therefore I'm saying. It is not a question of gender specific, it is a need based. Now here, if men need some special acts for their protection or for their assistance.
We haven't had any till now.
No. Unfortunately, all our legal evolution have been made by the men only. and the men at the helm of affairs will always be protecting themselves.
It's just like
so therefore they don't need to have special laws.
Professor Mohan, I want to get you in here because do you think the male really needs to be protected, like panelists here are saying that we need protection?
Abuse of the act.
I think
from the misuse of that.
Abuse of the law.
Psychologist, I think from a totally different angle. I feel that if in a work situation, EQ, emotional quotient development is there for both men and women. Attitude change is there in both men and women. Things do become very different because I conduct these workshops and I've demonstrated to certain organizations, morale goes up, interpersonal relations go up, and interpersonal relations in a decent way. Women also feel closer to men professionally, not otherwise, and men also feel protective or whatever they are towards their own women. Like if to their women some other outsider is coming and doing something there, they'll get together and holler that person out. That is the protective part. But if the protector starts exploiting, so where does the person go?
Now I would like to add one more angle to this. Now the other thing is, which we are not considering, is that the abuse is not always by the boss. You have to understand that, and not by the boss or the colleagues all the time. Abuse can happen in so many ways. There can be sales pressure, where you ask a female to go to the market and she is under immense pressure to compromise in so many ways to complete her target. So that's a different kind of pressure. It can be from anyone, and this happens. You have to ask people from the corporate, they will tell you this happens all the time. It can be like telecalling is a very common example where it happens. You're supposed to make certain, you have to sell certain items. Then it can also happen with beside customer. It can also happen in many other situations where females are supposed to interact with outside.
You know, like industries, like you're very correct, you know, where you go in for sales pitch, or hotel industry, the aviation.
Absolutely.
These are prone hugely to sexual advances.
It's not just related to workplace, which means your boss and your colleagues. So that's why I said women require protection from all kind of abuses, not only workplace abuse. That's why in the very beginning I said this act is a useless piece of legislation to my mind. If we were to come with a legislation, we should come up with a stronger legislation if there be a need for that.
This bill will cover women going all this.
But when he said it just covers 2% of the population, minuscule amount of population.
We'll get on.
I'll just add one more thing. If you go to the history of all the cases registered, be it, I say for any kind of abuse against females, you will find that females from the lower strata of the society, which is the bottom 98% of society, rarely go to the police station and they rarely get any kind of justice. Recently we were doing a study and I got some reports from certain districts of Punjab. You would be surprised to know in the last 10 years, not a single female has ever registered a complaint of abuse, dowry or beating or anything of that sort. And it's so common in Punjab, but still.
Yeah, you know, he has a point that you have.
If she goes to the Thana, she is exploited there.
Absolutely. That's the point. That's the point.
She cannot go. So if there is a protection at the workplace itself, there is a committee of sexual harassment, and the person who is the chairperson of that takes action. Now, so far, whenever I have been in some sexual harassment committee, even if we had decided in favor of the woman, the implementation would not take place.
In 14 years, tell me how many cases which were reported to by the workplace have actually gone for trial. How many cases?
I differ on this. This one thing which ma'am rightly said. It's not that women do not report. Why do they do not report? It's just that because they are harassed afterwards. Maybe it's by the police or by the judicial mechanism or by the lawyer or by anybody.
So at the end of the day, you're absolutely correct.
If the laws has to be made, they have to be made in such a way that there has to be summary trial of things.
Right.
Completed in 15 days.
No, I won't agree with Samar. I won't agree with Samar. Summary trials are slippery slopes. I don't agree on summary trials. I'm not going to take.
No, that's a very dicey area.
That's a dicey area. It should not be a public trial.
Okay, it should not be a public trial.
Yeah, I agree. In camera proceeding, I can agree on that.
Yeah, in camera it should be.
But before that, we all start this. There is a need of SOS, an emergency service, and emergency relief to the victim, which is already inbuilt in this bill. There is that she can ask for transfer from that place, her transfer. She is not asking, because she is a victim. She is not asking the transfer of the preparator. She is not saying.
It's already provided for, ma'am.
No, that's what I'm saying. So this is now inbuilt in the act. Otherwise, majority of the time that I've seen in Vishakha case, it is not she who is transferred. She is allowed to continue, the man is allowed to continue in the same department, in the same wing, no redressal at immediate, no immediate relief to them. Now half of the thing can be handled without any outside intervention by such mechanism where the provocation can be avoided by such methods, like she can ask for transfer, she can ask the other man to be transferred, she can ask a leave. Let it be over for some time.
But there is a problem here. There is a problem.
Once a crime has been committed and that crime qualifies to be a crime under 509, why only departmental action? Why should not there be a criminal action?
Here, this is what they are trying to make it now, 509. Now 509 is already there, but how many women knows now? Again, the thing.
The bill envisaged the transfer, as you rightly said, ma'am. You can get the transfer done. But then just let me know one thing: at what stage?
At the initial stage. This is what I am saying.
See, if you're a woman, you're prejudiced against somebody, you just go up and say, transfer him out, because, you know, because...
No. There will be a study. I mean, there's an inquiry. You don't take anything on face value.
That's what I'm asking, at what stage, and who does that inquiry?
That's what I'm saying. Nobody can... No, transfer is just like suspension is not an offense, so it's not a punishment.
No, I'm just
transfer
asking
is not a punishment.
I think I'm going to close.
You continue with the work, but the environment is changed.
Yes.
Now, here the issue is the environment, which is important.
What do you think about the abuse of this?
Now, here is the question of abuse, and there is always a mechanism of abuser. He can be punished. He can be punished under law. Any law. If I am abusing any law, I have.
We have to close the debate right now.
How many does get punished under 182?
That's what.
182 to 111 is never
we are running out of time. I have to close the debate. We can continue this a little later, but at least we have a protection bill which is required. I think at the end we come to that general consensus that the bill will make a discernible difference to women at the workplace. Incidents like standing too close, brushing past a careless touch, being harassed at work can leave the women enraged and confused. Well, now they have the right to legally address the harassment. That's what our debate concludes. Thanks for watching. Goodbye and good luck.